It's not hard to get excited about the 1997 Corvette. As the Chevrolet dealers and salespeople you just heard from can attest.
People spend a lot of money. They like the feeling that they really got their money's worth. So we've worked on the structure, the attention to details throughout the car to generate a really well-built impression.
What I remember is I kept looking at you the following day, and I'd say, Rick, you know, are you doing okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
I wasn't.
And every day he looked a little rougher and a little rougher. And finally, in only Rick Conti fashion, he says, damn it, he goes, you snore louder than anybody I've ever slept with in my life. He says, in fact, the last 3 nights I've had to sleep on the balcony. And I said, I wondered why every morning when I got up, you were out on the balcony.
I'm not kidding you. The guy, he snores like a rhinoceros. It was unbelievable. I was so irritable. I almost got up, and I don't know if your wife's close by. She might attest to this. But anyways, I got up in the middle of the night, and I almost wanted to punch you in the head. I was so mad. I was like, would you just shut up? I can't sleep. It was driving me. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this special segment. I kind of want to take you back to where it all began for me in the car business, why I got into the car business. And it wasn't to sell a bunch of cars and trucks. It was specifically to focus on Corvette. And 99.9% of what I sell 30 years later is Corvette. I'm with my first Chevrolet sales manager, Mike Noble.
Howdy, Rick.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for inviting us into your home, and I'm glad to share and celebrate this with you. I've got a lot of great stories, including the first time, I don't know if you remember this, but the interview that you and I had when I got the job, but we actually got in a fight in the interview. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I want you guys to meet Mike, because here's the similarities between he and I. We're car guys in the car business. We weren't business guys in the car business. We actually have a love and passion for cars. And you were in the car business for how long?
Well, darn near 50 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's been a hell of a ride.
Yes.
I don't have any regrets.
You've been a great coach, a great manager, and turned into a great friend. So I really appreciate the interactions we've had over the years and the things that you've taught me and the times that he's tuned me up many times. But that's how you learn. And I had to listen to him, and I'm glad that I did, because here I am 30 years later doing just Corvette. You were really into cars. Do you still have that old Porsche?
I sold it.
Did you?
Sold my 911.
That was a nice car, man.
And I was just saying last night, it's the only car that I have seller's remorse on.
Really?
I wish I still had that car.
We all have those stories. The one that got away, or the one that I wish I would have gotten. You know,
Sure.
we all have those crazy stories. And you're doing, at your age, I don't know if we're allowed to tell, but at your age, you're doing autocrossing. You're out there driving cars, man. What do you got that you're doing a little tracking?
Not exactly autocrossing, road racing.
Okay, I love it. Okay.
Road racing, Mid-Ohio, Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
I'll be doing Watkins Glen this year probably, so we're getting around.
Yeah, and you're having some successes. You've won some races.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you driving out there?
1972 Alfa Romeo Veloce Spider.
Oh my goodness.
I wish it was a Corvette.
Right, no, that's okay.
It's a big 160 horsepower, so it's something I can handle.
You're out there having fun.
Exactly.
I think that's great. I'm discovering that element of car ownership and sports cars and that lifestyle, and I'm having a blast and sharing it with our audience. Yeah. So let's take you back to my first interview. I was selling Pontiacs for about 9 months before I came to you, and I walked out in the middle of a sales meeting. I didn't know what I was doing. Mike's like, this sounds like Rick. And the guy I guess that was the thing back in the day in the mid-90s. The guy was screaming just profusely. And it's just like, I was making no money. I'm like, oh my, I just wasn't having any fun. And that was just a weird time in my life. I walked out in the middle of the sales meeting after saying, here, you're number one. And I took the plaque and I threw it on the desk and I left. But my sales manager knew of my background, radio, marketing. He says, you got to get into some kind of a specialty. And I said, well, the only car I really like is a Corvette. And he goes, well, I got a buddy at the Chevy store over in Amherst. So then I have before I actually had the interview with you, I started really thinking about well, you know what, I'm going to take this, I didn't want to be in the car business because I didn't want to be a car salesperson. I wanted to be a specialist. I wanted to build relationships and have good experiences and really just have fun and not be that stereotypical guy in the business. So I had this big proposal I gave to you, and the first thing you did when I sat down at your desk is you took it and you moved it off to the side. And I'm like, what the hell is he doing? It's like, I spent a lot of time on that. So you started talking to me about my experience. And I just said, I'm just coming off this and this and what my goals, and you go, oh, that's great. And you guys were already the biggest Corvette dealer in Ohio, one of the top 5 in the country. Yeah. So I was in good hands in that regard. So it wasn't like I was bringing anything to the table. I couldn't help you. You were there to help me, and I was trying to take advantage of that. And so you said, okay, great, you can have the job. And you pointed over to this desk over on the other side of the tower you were sitting at, and I looked over and I go, well, there's no phone over there. They go, I'll get you a phone. Do you want the job or not? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take the job. And so when we get done, I go, oh, by the way, I need a demo. And you had a policy that you couldn't have a demo unless you were there for 6 months. So that's when I pull out my plaque that I threw on the table. I said, well, I was the #1 Pontiac salesman just recently. And go, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, so you can have a demo. So everybody hated me right away because the new guy got a demo. You were always supportive. Like I said, you were a great coach, and I remember one of the lines that you told me early on when I was selling this car, and we're talking about different customers in different situations, and you said, Rick, you got to remember, you remember this too. Rick, you have to remember, you're giving people access to their dreams. Do you remember that line?
I do.
You remember that line?
I do.
It was just like, and it was the same thing. It's like, you're not just a salesman, you're helping people access their dreams by selling this car.
Yeah.
It was just incredible, and we just had a lot of fun representing everything. So before we get into some delivery stories that were really wacky, let's go back to kind of that first year before the C5 launched. And I was really ticked off because you knew I wanted to be the Corvette guy, and I think it was the people above us that kind of ruined it or made it difficult for me. There was one guy from our store that was going to go to the C5 training launch in Miami.
Yes.
And like everybody knew, Rick wants to be the Corvette guy, but I didn't get it. I had to earn it. And it only went to the top salesman for that particular month. I busted my butt. I'm selling conversion vans, you name it. I'm selling anything. And it was the last day of the month. I think it was the conversion van that I sold that got me in there, so I had an opportunity to take the trip. So it was you and I took the trip, but I was so stressed out because I thought my whole existence was going to be Corvette. And if I didn't win this contest, I'm not going to go. And I just felt like I was going to be behind the 8 ball. So I did win the contest. We went to Miami, and we had a fantastic time. It was so stressful because it was really embargoed. We were sitting in, driving the C5 97 Corvettes before they were revealed to the public the following month in the Detroit Auto Show. Yes. And it was weird. Remember the badges they gave us? They said, if you're not on the bus at this time, the bus is leaving. If you're on the bus and you don't have the security badge, you're not leaving on the bus. And there was one guy that showed up, and he's like, oh, let me just run back to my room real quick. It's like, nope, we got to go. And they closed the door and left them. They just left them there. Yeah, and we went to Miami, and it was just incredible. A great time. I got 100% on the tests. And one of the takeaways from that whole class, besides it was everything that I wanted to do. I was so pumped full of sunshine on the car. You said, and this is why I wanted to meet with Mike, because he is the guy that gave me the nickname Rick Corvette Conti. So we're on the plane. You got to remember this too. Oh, yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday, and we're talking about this, and we're talking about the car. Just the Chevy training did exactly what we wanted. It pumped us full of sunshine. Yep. And he's just sitting here laughing at me because I'm talking and talking. I want to do this. Oh yeah, I got this. I got all these plans and this. And he goes, you know what? I go, what? He goes, you're really into this. I said, yes, I am. He goes, you really are Rick Corvette. He goes, you're Rick Corvette Conti. I said, oh, hell, that's great. I'm going to use that. And then we used it in the Corvette and Chevy Trader magazine. We used it in the DuPont registry. Yeah. And the first time the ads went upstairs for approval and to get paid, all the girls in the office just laughed at me. They go, what is this? Rick Corvette Conti. Right. It's like, whatever. Here we are. Hi, ladies, 30 years later, and having a great time, because it was one of those things I learned in sales, that you didn't want to, hey, I'm Rick. No, I'm the bald Rick. No, I'm the Rick with the mustache. No, it's just, I wanted a way for people to know I want to talk to the Corvette. I want to talk to Rick, the Corvette guy. So it was a little different back then. I don't even know if the internet was even beginning at that point.
Well, whoever would have thought out of that little conversation that an entire brand and career is built around that moniker.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you. Well,
Good job, buddy.
Well, a lot of your help is to that credit why we're here today. But really, the two words I use a lot, looking back, is really focus and passion, and that's what got us here today. And it's not all been great times. There's been some crazy times. Some of those will actually hit my book in a few years. But for today, let's just keep it light and have some fun. Oh, the other thing to take away from Miami, and you and I didn't discover this until 6 months later, so there was, I think, 3,500 Chevy dealers somewhere in that neighborhood at the time, and just a select few Chevy dealers were allowed to go to Miami.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, one of my buddies called me at another Chevy store, and he goes, "Hey, you're on the training tape." I go, "What training tape?" "You and I were on the training tape."
That's right.
So for all the dealers that couldn't go, Chevy was filming all that, and we got a clip for you coming up in just a second. I'm embarrassed to share mine because I was so excited I couldn't put two words together. Mr. Cool over here, he's just, he just knocked it out of the park. So he made the video. I don't know how I made the video, but I guess maybe just, look how excited this guy is. He can't even talk. But they shared that with all the Chevy dealerships, so they had an idea what the launch of the 97 Corvette was all about. That was just an incredible time.
Great memory.
Number one on our list of things that we must accomplish is to get a car that really conveys a well-built impression. People spend a lot of money. They'd like to feeling that they really got their money's worth. So we've worked on the structure, the attention to details throughout the car to generate a really well-built impression.
And these are built on a fixture where the workers can walk around it, easily connect up things, assure that everything's fine, and then they in fact electrically test the entire unit. When it's ready and everything's right, then they walk over to the structure of the car and literally insert this into the front of the car and weld it up. That assures that everything's working right before the car is completely finished. It also improves the build quality because this is nice and rigid and it's in its right format when it comes to the car.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. Let's drop the tarp and let's greet the 97 Chevrolet Corvette.
The new Corvette was unveiled to the public on January 6, 1997, in a simultaneous satellite link-up between the North American International Auto Show in Detroit and the Los Angeles Auto Show. The excitement of this event helped Corvette grab headlines and newscasts across the country, announcing to the world that the legend lives.
It's amazing. It's more exciting words than I can say on this tape, but I'll tell you what, it's almost speechless to a certain extent.
It's the finest sports car I think anybody here has ever driven in their life. They really outdone themselves this time.
It's not hard to get excited about the 1997 Corvette. As the Chevrolet dealers and salespeople you just heard from can attest.
Remember too, here, I gotta tell you this too, and you gotta tell your story. He got mad at me, so we stayed in the same room, and he got mad at me, we're checking out, and he goes, "Hey, what's this all about?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Golf club, 2 golf shirts, and a couple rounds of golf. Do you remember that at the Royal Country Club?" And I go, "Mike, what the hell are you talking about? I've been with you the whole time. I've had no time to go golfing." He goes, "Well, the guy at the counter says he didn't recognize you." And he goes, "They banged my credit card." So we walked right up to the guy and said, "Hey, you recognize his face?" He says, "No, I don't." I said, "Well, you need to credit his credit card." I didn't go golfing or anything. So somebody heard your room number behind us and charged everything to your room. You were checking out and you were all mad at me. And I'm like, I've been right with you the whole time. I didn't go golfing. It's like, funny. Oh my gosh. And then you reminded me before we did the interview today, you said, "I remember you got really mad at me when we were staying overnight at the Royal Country Club." And I had forgotten that. Tell the folks what happened there.
Well, what I remember is I kept looking at you the following day, and I'd say, "Rick, you know, are you doing okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay."
I wasn't.
And every day he looked a little rougher and a little rougher, and finally, in only Rick Conti fashion, he says, "Damn it!" He goes, "You snore louder than anybody I've ever slept with in my life." He says, in fact, the last 3 nights I've had to sleep on the balcony. And I said, I wondered why every morning when I got up, you were out on the balcony.
I'm not kidding you. The guy, he snores like a rhinoceros. It was unbelievable. And I was so irritable. I almost got up, and I don't know if your wife's close by. She might attest to this. But anyways, I got up in the middle of the night, and I almost wanted to punch you in the head. I was so mad. I was like, would you just shut up? I can't sleep. It was driving me nuts. And then he started cracking up like he is now, realizing why I was so tired because I couldn't get any sleep. It was just, and I'd forgotten
Every day he looked worse.
Dude, it was bad. Have you gotten that problem taken care of, by the way?
It was my fault. Well, I tried to lose a little weight.
Right. Oh, you lost a lot of weight. You look fantastic, by the way. You lost a lot of weight. But I mean, that snoring was, I've never heard anything like it to this day. I mean, it was bad, guys. I'm telling you, it was bad. Could not sleep at all.
I am sorry.
No, it's 30 years later, you're now telling me you're sorry?
I am sorry.
Because he didn't tell me back then. Thanks. And I don't know if you remember this. I want to share a couple of delivery stories with you guys. It was 98, the launch of the C5 convertible, and I had actually started building up my tenure there and a lot more responsibility. You guys gave me a key to the building, and it was Thanksgiving Day. I had to deliver a car to this guy. It was, lo and behold, it's the only day he could come in. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like, and I needed the money, and it's, you know, I have to go pick him up at the airport. No one's in the dealership. We didn't have electronic signing as we do now, so I picked this guy up, and he's. And it took me, I always analyze situations in sales, like when you're talking to people, you know, what could I have said differently, you know, and you always think about that. So that guy's delivery situation, I always thought about, you know, what was with this guy? And it took me a few years to figure it out, and I think I'm right. He was about, oh gosh, I bet he was 6'5", if not bigger, okay? Long leather coat, New York accent, from Washington State, coming in to pick up a Corvette. I didn't connect the dots at the time. And he comes in, and I had the big office in the back. Remember the big office? And I had the couches and the coffee table and photo albums, the key to the story, photo albums there. So we do the paperwork and all that kind of stuff, and I get ready to take a picture, as I did with all the clients. Go to take a picture of him, and this guy starts flipping out in convulsions. Hey, what's with the camera? Hey, he starts screaming, F this, F that. I need to make sure you delete that. He's going crazy. Spooked me. I'm in the dealership all by myself. This guy could have broke me in half, took the keys and ran.
Yeah.
Hence, I actually coined one of my I'm good at these one-liners. So from that situation, I said, see your keys, see your car, see you later. Well, there's an owner's manual in the glove box. You should read it. Some good information on how to use everything. It's like, get the heck out of here. Guy scared the crap out of me. And I just kept thinking about it. It's like, what was with this guy? And he was weirded, and what really helped me is he was weirded out about giving me a picture of his driver's license. I'm like, well, you have bought a car before, haven't you? We kind of need a picture of your driver's license. I mean, it was just weird. I bet this guy was in witness protection.
He probably was.
Oh yeah, dude. And even thinking about that, then it scared me even more. It's like, oh my gosh, it really could have killed me. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember that.
The other one where you actually coached me and kind of got me together, and I would have paid anything to this day to have this on film for you guys, but we'll just tell you the story anyways. 97 Corvette. Again, I don't know when did the internet start? I don't know, was it 98, 99? Maybe it was in that area. But we were in the Corvette Chevy Trader magazine. We were in DuPont Registry, and I got a phone call from a guy in Flint, Michigan, and he says, hey, it says in your ad here you have Corvettes in stock. The car just launched. I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, we have 3. Oh, really? I said, yeah, we have a white one. I have a blue one, and on the showroom I have a black one. Tell me about the black one. So I go through, it's got the sport seats, blah, 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 got all that. He goes, we're from Flint. We'll be there when you guys open up in the morning. Sure enough, at 8 o'clock, an hour before we open, there they are appearing in the window. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get a coffee. Funny. So they come in, we start doing the deal. Everybody in Cleveland area knew that we had Corvettes. So I'm doing the deal with these folks, and then all of a sudden, Dave and I are sitting in my office, and I hear these 2 ladies screaming, cussing, screaming. It was just nuts. And he goes, I think that's my wife. Looks out my office, he goes, that is my wife. And these 2 ladies are fighting over the car. You get out of that effing car. It's my car. Now it's my car. Chairs are getting thrown. I'm like, I run up to Mike. Hey, Mike, my people were here first. He goes, what are you doing here talking to me? Go write the deal. It's like, like, okay. So I went and wrote the deal because I was worried I was going to lose the deal, and they were upset. Hey, we're here first, and these people are, no, I'm buying it. No, I'm buying it. It was, and these two ladies were screaming. So I did get the deal. It was nuts. But yeah, you said like, what are you doing up here?
Write the deal.
Go write the deal. I'll never
Keep
forget
it simple.
that. Absolutely. Yeah, you used to say that a lot too. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Don't make it hard for people to buy cars.
No, that is right. I'm going to tell another delivery story that was unfortunate, and I've told this before at the National Caravan down in Kentucky, but I really want to thank again you, and I think for that little era that we worked together, we had such a great team.
Yes.
From salespeople, from the office, from service, everybody got along. Yeah. It was, and even to this day, a lot of us are still friends. It's just crazy. The unity that we had and the successes that we had, it really felt like a family.
Yes.
I mean, it really, really did, and I miss that interaction, and it's unfortunate, like I said, bosses above us ruined that for everyone, but we still have some fantastic memories, and it's great to share a little bit of this with you guys. You're watching a special evening Coffee with Conti, celebrating 30 years selling Corvette exclusively, and you were part of this deal too, and I don't know if you remember, but it's weird how we are in the car business. We live and breathe this. We work so many hours. I probably won't forget anything, but on my deathbed, I can have Alzheimer's. I won't know my name, what I had for dinner, or what day it is. But I remember every guy to screw me out of this deal, though. I just live and breathe this stuff and so passionate. But there's this one lady that was fantastic, and this was, I think, in 2000, 2002. More C5 stories for you guys. And she was a wonderful professional lady and wanted to buy and order a Corvette for her husband for Christmas.
Yes.
Do you remember those people?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, this was really, really bizarre. We meet in October, go through the specs. I give her some questions to ask her husband. By November, she's got it figured out. We order the car. Wasn't the delays like it is now to get a car. We actually ordered it end of October, beginning of November, and the thing was there 2 weeks before Christmas. It was perfect. I deliver the car on Christmas Eve to their home. Beautiful home. I walk up to the door, and I used to do in-home sales, so I had my business card out, and I said, hey, I'm Rick Conti from such and such Chevrolet. Merry Christmas from your wife. Now, I never made it in past the threshold of the door, because I'm just like, and he's standing there, and he goes, what's your name again? So now he's being a jerk, and I'm ticked off, and I went, I'm sorry, it's right here, Rick Conti, from such and such Chevrolet. Your wife ordered you a Corvette. And I tried again, Merry Christmas. And he just stands there, and she's in the background in the dining room and turns around and starts yelling at her. What did you do? What did you do? Rah, 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 starts screaming at her. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for her. And he was a car guy. I'll tell you why here in just a second. So I end up leaving the car there, and then after the holiday, she calls, and it was complicated because the car's already titled and this and that. It was a very difficult situation to get her out of, and I won't go through the particulars, but it cost her some money to get out of the deal. She just wanted out of the deal, and I was just worried if she was okay because he was so belligerent.
Wow.
Forward to the springtime, one of the Quaker Steak and Lube shows, I see them walking together. Unfortunately, they were still together. And then I see him, and I went, hey! He's like, yeah, come on over here and say something now. It's like, yeah, but so you're looking at cars and stuff like that, but just there was no reason for that. I felt so bad for her. That was just really an unfortunate situation. But
that's very odd.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just like, it's hard to get wives involved. It's predominantly a guy thing, but I love it when women are involved in the car hobby, especially Corvette. My goodness, she's buying her husband a Corvette. I mean, just incredible. So, one for the storybooks and one for the book that we'll have out in a few years for you guys too. A lot of stuff that we haven't talked about, that's coming in the book. I'm going to lay it all out there for you guys. It's like, oh no. Yes, it will. Speaking of some of the great things we did together at our dealership, we did a lot of great marketing stuff, and you guys were really supportive of me. I remember when we did the Cleveland Auto Show stuff, and we ended up having a big display, and I would work that for 10 days. And
ding to dong.
Oh man, that was a tough schedule, but it was worth it. We had so much fun. One of the highlights was the Superman car that we made. It was, we actually took a big giant real cape, and I stood on two 10-foot ladders Well, guys were standing on the ladders, and I'm on top, and I'm shooting down as one of the big shop fans are blowing that cape. And then we gave it to the vinyl guy, so the vinyl graphic on the back of the coupe actually was a picture of a cape, and we did it in vinyl on there and had all the logos and the seats all done. By the way, I still have those seat skins to this day.
Amazing.
And it was just incredible, and we had all kinds of people there coming to see those specialty cars. We just had a lot of fun promoting the car in that way, although I had to take that car apart, because I don't know if I ever told you. I think the show wasn't quite over yet. I came into the office to pick up some materials, and I got a phone call from Marvel Comics. Hey, I understand you got a Superman car. No, I don't. What are you doing with that? I don't know.
Stir it up, stir it up.
Oh, yeah, I was a nervous wreck. As soon as I got back, I said, take all that crap off the car before he came back. So I kept the seat skins, and we had to just de-Superman it. But it was great. It was great for the show. But we certainly had a great time just revealing that. I came out in a Superman costume, and that was kind of funny. And we gave away some special posters. And
oh yeah,
that was
good times.
That was a great time. It was
Rick, the promoter.
It was, well, you know, the car business has got to be fun, and we made it fun with the support of him and others at our store. It was just incredible. We had some of the biggest, I think, in fact, we had the biggest Corvette show, all Corvette show in the state of Ohio at our store every year.
I remember that. People's
Choice Awards and all kinds of crazy stuff. And
I think I played Little Red Corvette about 100 times.
Oh my gosh, yes. Why not? It's a hit. Everybody loved it. Remember the one year we had a company for the dealership that actually was videotaping, and I'm sorry I don't have a copy of that. But he was videotaping as the guy left in the black C5 Z06.
Did the burnout?
We did the burnout, went sideways and came across traffic, and he hit another car.
Oh my gosh.
So that was in the video, and as you heard him hit, and everybody going, oh, and it fades to black and goes, see you next year. It's like, oh, it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
We had a great time. I remember Ron Fellows was supposed to come to the dealership, and he wasn't able to because his son was advancing in baseball, and I was coaching Brandon at the time, so I totally got it. And then he goes, Andy Pilgrim's going to come. And I go, oh, okay, fantastic. So we promote Andy Pilgrim's going to be there. I had it on my website. And the day of the show, Andy calls me and cancels. I go, oh, no. I'm not going on stage. Hang on a second. I put him on speakerphone and say, here, you can tell everybody. They're standing here with models and helmets. You can tell them you're not coming. And he did. I felt so bad for all those people, but it still ended up being a great show because it was that we would get 600 to 700 Corvettes there. Yeah, had vendors and food and prizes. It was everything that it's supposed to be with the ownership of Corvette. And we've dealt with just countless thousands of amazing people that have really made this memorable for me. And I know I don't have another 30 years in me. I'm hoping 10, but it's made the 30 years that I'm sharing with you guys tonight just really, really significant. It blows. I don't know where the hell the times went.
Well, you know, it's not only about the car; it's about the people.
Yes.
That you meet along the way that truly become family members.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
sure.
It's the Corvette family.
There's no doubt about
it. It's just really a remarkable automobile in that regard.
I got to thank you for everything. You know, looking back, you know, the hindsight aspect really makes me appreciate stuff even more to be where I'm at right now. But it's because of guys like this that's allowed me, you know, that next step. And you've always been supportive and always encouraging me to do this, and I would give you ideas, and he would always pump me up and it made me want to do more. I love that.
Well, it's easy to coach somebody who has talent.
Thank you,
Number one, who has passion.
Thanks.
Number two, who loves the product.
Yeah.
And loves to see the product going down the highway. You know. But when I think about looking back over my career, the biggest satisfaction I get was taking young people who were successful maybe doing something else but not doing real well financially, and then showing them how to succeed in the car business. And you're by far my star pupil. So whenever I'm talking about people, Rick Conti's at the top of the list, and I really appreciate everything you've done in your career. And you've never embarrassed us.
Thank you.
You've always made us proud.
Thanks.
And we love your candor. Don't ever change.
That's all I know. Sorry. Sometimes you have to just lay it out there. That way we know where we're at. Now let's have a conversation. Look at the shirt he's wearing too. Nice shirt and hat, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Everything's product placement. But that was his idea. He goes, "Hey, if you want me to wear a shirt or your stuff," I go, "Oh yeah, great idea. I'll bring a shirt for you."
I'm sure I'll get an invoice for it.
There you go, thinking like a businessman. Okay, so he had both spectrums covered pretty well.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Who knows what the future holds for us? There's a lot of uneasy things going on right now at Chevrolet that scare us as enthusiasts and owners and people that work for the brand. But right now, I got to remember what's gotten me through life, and that's you find the positive and just keep moving forward. So that's what we're going to continue to do. The guy will remain nameless, but do you remember the guy when I first started and I told him, we already went through the story where I want to focus and I want to sell only Corvettes, and he said, nobody could be in the car business selling only one car, and he soon quit after that.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
Focus and passion, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if he's still with us to this day, but I wish I could see him and tell him, say, hey man, here we are 30 years later, it really can be done, you really can do anything that you want to do, and I really do enjoy the Corvette community, the people, and the product.
Well, it's so wonderful that you actually, in your vocation, actually got to do something that you're really, really stoked about.
Yes.
And that you love to do and you can't wait to get back and do it again.
This was a career I never wanted. I told you at the beginning of today's show, I walked out of that Pontiac store.
Yeah.
I hated the car business and kind of still do. But it's some of the games and the crap you have to deal with. But, focusing on one car that I really enjoyed made all the difference in the world for me. It wasn't about standing on the corner and selling this, and this, and this. It was really trying to build relationships, and I was just really, really passionate about it. Having a marketing background, because I came from radio, really helped me, market myself around Corvette, and that's what I intended to do, and it looks like we accomplished that. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm thankful to all the people that have supported me along the way, because they're the ones that have made me successful, and I acknowledge that.
One thing I remembered about our trip to Miami Motorsports Park, I was out running the C4. They let us drive the C4s first.
I forgot they do that, yes.
And compare it to the new C5.
Right.
And it was a world of difference. But I jump in this C4, and I consider myself a pretty aggressive driver. And I was running through the pylon course pretty bonsai. And I ran off course and didn't realize it. It was running around outside of the track. And the guy black flags me over to the flag stand. He goes, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "I'll send you on an airplane and send you right back to Cleveland." He says, "I don't care how many Corvettes you guys sell up there." He says, "I'll have your butt out of here in a New York minute." And I said, I'm sorry. I says,
that's how they were.
And thankfully, they didn't throw me out.
Right.
So that was a good memory.
I remember the girl, and I don't know if I have a picture to show you guys. She was from Texas, and they said no cameras and all that kind of stuff. But she had a fanny pack on, and she had one of those little Instamatic cameras.
I remember that, yeah.
And I still have the picture. I got to find it. Hopefully we have it. And if you're looking at it now, then yes, I found the picture. But she stands up, and you can see her shadow. She's in an Apex taking a picture of the red C5 there. And as soon as she's done, give me your camera. But it was cool. Chevrolet, after the reveal, actually sent the camera back to her.
Oh,
and that's how I got the picture. Because
it
was late January, early February. She sent, because I gave her my address, and she did send me the picture. And I just wanted that because that was like the first spy photo of the real C5 Corvette. We were part of history there, and I wanted to keep that. So that was kind of
cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, but they were tough, man. Yeah. Thanks for everything, man.
Been
Thanks for inviting us to your home. You too,
yes,
brother.
Thank you, man.
Great to see you too. You're awesome.